Welcome to SplitSecond. If you want to buy the best sleeves or other magic-related accessories, head down to Dragon Shield using the affiliate link below. During this Christmas time, we bring you some on-theme commanders. Val plans to give his opponents some big creatures with Beamtown Bullies, based on Mons' list. David is more like a bad Santa. You've been a bad boy this year, so I'll tax you to boredom. A list from DJ Yavimaya. Elder is on what? That's right, you guessed it, food chain, feeding everyone with some mischievous foods. Last but not least, Josh built a Gruul Kinnan deck filled with beefy creatures and some crazy interactions. Bal is going first and he kept his first 7, allowing for a turn 1 professional Facebreaker if he so wishes. Single Nurturing Pitland for lands but with enough ramp in Mana Vault and Tinderwall. Facebreaker also helps with generating treasures and Azra Oddsmaker is great card advantage, which also helps on discarding that Inverter of Truth to quickly deal with someone. Legless Quick Reflexes is a combo piece and protection. David mulliganed once and found a handful of ramp. Single Bayou for lands but paired with Mana Crypt, Sol Ring, Fingernails and Wild Growth for mana. Too bad Bayou is actually not one of those snow-covered dual lands, otherwise that early static orb paired with Jorn would put him quite ahead. Dead of Winter might seem a bad deluge, but the deck actually has quite a bunch of snow in it. Elder kept his first 7 with an Arid Mesa and Forest for lands. Simian Spirit Guide for ramp means Archivist of Ogma might surprise early fetches and pay off quite well. Elvish Mystic for some ramp, Goblin Matron helps him find Dockside or Squee, and Spiteful Banditry has decent removal with good synergies in the deck. Finally, Josh mulliganed once and found a hell lot of mana, Snow-Covered Forest and Exotic Orchard for lands, with Chrome Mox, Mana Vault, Arcane Signet and Elvish Mystic for ramp. That professional Facebreaker can also see play as early as turn 1. Now, remember our last video where we spoke about a giveaway? Well, here it is! 2 lucky patrons will win one of 2 prizes, consisting of a playmat and a pack of sleeves, and another one of 2 packs of sleeves. But that's not all. Any of you viewers can also qualify to win 2 packs of sleeves from Dragon Shield. All you gotta do is like this video and comment below which deck you think won the second match of this recording. You can also try to guess how they did it for some extra points. Ready for the match? Bal starts the game with a Mana Vault and casts a top-decked Matsalantli the Great Door, which he activates right away, drawing a card and discarding an Inverter of Truth. David gets to his turn, plays a Bayou and casts a Wild Growth on it. He still casts a Mana Crypt and uses it to cast a Sol Ring. He has mana for the orb, but it would hinder him more than anyone else. We're on Elder's turn. He plays an Arid Mesa and just passes. Josh plays an Exotic Orchard and casts an Elvish Mystic, ending his turn. Bal draws and takes 1 from the Mana Vault. He slams the Polluted Delta and cracks it. In response though, Elder cracks his Arid Mesa and finds a Plateau. He then exiles Simian Spirit Guide for red mana and flashes in Archivist of Ogma. Bal then searches for a Taiga, triggering the Archivist, and Elder draws a card and gains 1 life. Bal then casts a Tinderwall and activates Matsalantli the Great Door to draw a card and discard Professional Facebreaker. He still casts a Deathrite Shaman before ending his turn. Still not as much mana as David, who is untapping with 6 mana on turn 2, but paying a price for it, 3 damage from the Crypt. He casts his commander Jorn, God of Winter, and uses the floating mana now to cast Static Orb. After that, he plays a Rimewood Falls and passes a turn. Elder draws, plays a Marshflats and cracks it for a Savannah. He casts an Elvish Mystic as well and passes to Josh. So far the orb is not doing much, but it can easily get out of control once players start having more stuff to cast and tap, while David can untap his snow lands with Jorn. Josh plays a Snow-Covered Forest and casts an Arcane Signet, ending his turn. Bal draws and loses another life to the vault. He goes ahead, casting his commander, the Beamtown Bullies. He proceeds to attack Elder, since he can gain life with his foods, at least commander damage can keep him in check, just in case. In the second main phase, he plays a Bazaar of Baghdad and passes the turn. David then taps 2 permanents and rolls safely for the Crypt. However, Bal holds him in his upkeep to activate the Beamtown Bullies, attempting to give David his Inverter of Truth. It enters play under David's control, triggering to exile all cards from his library face down and shuffle his graveyard into his library, but he has none. So as he attempts to draw in his draw step, he loses to an empty library. Bal pondered having him around a while longer, but that Static Orb could prove problematic. The turn proceeds to end step and Bal activates his Bazaar of Baghdad, finding an Eater of Days, that he discards right away, together with Noxus Revival and an Azra Oddsmaker. He still uses Deathrite Shaman to exile Elder's Marshflats to produce green mana to cast Legless Quick Reflexes on his commander, so he can have them untapped during Elder's turn. Elder gets to his turn, plays a Forest and is waiting for Bal to give him Eater of Days, but since Bal plans to give him Leveler instead, he holds the trigger on his Bullies. Elder then casts his commander, Rocco Street Chef, and proceeds to his end step, triggering them. Everyone exiles the top card of their library and they can play it until Elder's next end step. We're back to Josh's turn, and on his upkeep, Bal jumps ahead with another Beamtown Bullies activation, giving Eater of Days to Josh. It enters play, triggering so Josh keeps his next 2 turns. He draws, plays a City of Brass and casts a Chrome Mox, imprinting his professional Facebreaker. He also casts Mana Vault, and with all that mana, naturally hardcasts a Nyx Bloom Enchant. He might skip his 2 next turns, but if he manages to get another turn, things will happen for sure, with his 18 mana. He now taps his health for 3 green and casts Legless Quick Reflexes from exile on his Eater of Days. Rocco triggers, putting a +1/+1 counter on themselves and creating a food token. Now that everyone double checks the Quick Reflexes, they see what's about to happen. No one was counting on Legless' triggered ability up until Josh swings with his huge Flample Goaded Worm towards Elder, triggering to deal 9 damage to Bal's Beamtown Bullies. Elder takes the huge swing and Josh passes. Bal's plans of killing Elder just went down the drain, so he casts his Worldly Tutor on his upkeep to find a Dockside Extortionist. He draws and takes 1 from the Mana Vault. He uses Deathrite to exile Elder's last land in the yard to help cast the Dockside Extortionist. It enters play, creating 5 treasures. He now activates Bazaar of Baghdad, basically milling 2 cards. He also activates Masantli the Great Door, again drawing and discarding, and just passes the turn Hellbent. Elder is quite happy to see Bal Hellbent and Josh tapped out, as he now casts an Enlightened Tutor in his end step. What will he find? Food Chain, of course. He now proceeds to his turn, draws a Food Chain, casts a Lotus Petal, uses the Elvish Mystic to tap for green, and exile it for double red mana to the Food Chain. With that, he casts Goblin Matron, which enters play and triggers to search for Squee the Immortal to his hand. He then exiles the Matron to help cast Squee, and from there you all know the drill. He exiles Squee to the Food Chain for 4 red mana in order to cast it from exile over and over to generate infinite mana from all colors to cast creature spells, and in the process Rocco is triggering each time he casts Squee from the exile, creating infinite foods and putting a +1/+1 counter on Rocco each time. He now casts Hedron Detonator and repeats the Squee loop, which for each time it is cast from exile it triggers Rocco, that creates a food token, which in turn triggers Hedron Detonator to ping an opponent, killing both Josh and Bal. GG. What a crazy turn of events. Well, we have another match for you, it won't be today. To partake on our special Christmas giveaway, comment below on which deck you think wins the rematch. We might award special points to people who get the winning line or extra details. 2 lucky viewers will each get away with 2 Dragon Shield packs. Our patrons will also be eligible to win a prize consisting of a playmat and sleeves, and another prize consisting of 2 packs of sleeves. Thank you for joining us for today's match, everyone. All that ramp into a static orb made Bal pull an early trigger on Importer of Truth, and eventually Legless Quick Reflexes allowed for another activation as well as for Josh to remove Bal's commander, right about the time he wanted to kill Elder with Leveler, which gave room for the Food Chain to be found. We'd like to start the credits by thanking our current patrons, and especially Izanagi, TJ Rapp, Arajimo, Drangenhousecat, Pina, Ricardo, Katerina and Zinan, our stack breakers. If you want to support us, you can do so by liking this video, subscribing or by becoming a patron yourself. If you want to go through other Commander adventures, click one of the videos on the right. If you want to talk with us about our games or other EDH related matters, join us on Discord. Join us again next week for a new set of Commanders and more decisive plays. See you all then.